This movement is all about the people. For years and years and years, we've had the tail wagging the dog. Now it's time for the dog to wag the tail. And we're the dog. The people are the dog. We are the ones that are going to be wagging the tail.
I think what we have is across the West, a West-hating movement, a counter-movement through government and through media. And we need to find a community together who stand against the suppression of free speech, who stand against the abuses of our children, and who stand against the perversion of society.
I think events like this are so important because we do need to come together for a common purpose. You know, we do need to preserve our cultures. Everybody needs to preserve their own cultures.
I have hope for the United Kingdom because there's enough of us left that take pride in our country, that are not ashamed of the mistakes we made in our history, and know that though this country may have done certain things they say that we did, we are not who they say that we are. And we are Britain's hope for a great and glorious future.
I'm currently at the Montreal airport, ready to catch a flight to cover a significant story in the UK. Just touched down in Britain, and I'm now in downtown London at Trafalgar Square.
The biggest gathering of patriots Europe has seen, and it's happening in Great Britain. Okay, get your people organised, unify your countries. Enough is enough. The line in the sand has been drawn. We're being replaced no longer. Okay, not silently.
Every one of us here today need to remember who we are. We are the sons and daughters of warriors, of bravehearts, of fighters. To fight is in our DNA. It's in every single one of you. It's in your children, okay? The British are known throughout history as fighters, okay? The sooner we remember it, the sooner we realise every one of us have it, more and more of us need to stand up to them.
Hello everyone, Lavoie here, and this is the second part of my report from the ground in London covering Tommy Robinson demonstration. Don't miss any part of my journey at battleforlondon.com. I decided to make multiple videos because there is so much to discuss. England seems to be entering a dark time filled with wokeism and radical left ideology, especially under their new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party. He is a friend of globalists and a proponent of the elite's agenda, like the World Economic Forum.
We set our plans for what we call our Green Prosperity Plan, going towards clean power generation by 2030. And that's ambitious. That means, and here in Davos has been an opportunity for me to speak to many CEOs of businesses and investors who would partner us if we're in government to do that.
It's been a month since he was elected, and there have already been insane riots in the town of Leeds, where Muslim and Romanian have destroyed buses and police cars, attacked police officers, and caused much more havoc. Is this too late to save Britain from chaos and disorder, but especially from mass immigration? We are discussing these topics with British patriots. But before you watch the full video, I need your help. I worked really hard, even sleeping overnight in the airport to save money. But I still need to cover the cost of my flight, bus, and snacks on the go. We don't receive money from Trudeau because we want to bring you the facts straight, which the mainstream media will not do. I count on you to support this important journey at battleforlondon.com. And now, let's check it out.
The day after the rally, Tommy Robinson was detained under the Terrorism Act while heading home. Despite the London Metropolitan Police overseeing the event without issue, he was held for 6 hours, interrogated, and had his phone confiscated. Tommy was released on bail later that day. We will continue to provide updates as the situation unfolds.
This movement is growing like you wouldn't believe. It is growing. It is going to grow to the biggest people's cultural movement the UK has ever seen. And when it's grown, when we start to reach its potential, we will then go to the politicians and tell them what we want, not them telling us what they're going to give us.
I think what we have is across the West, a West-hating movement, a counter-movement through government, through media, and we need to find a community together who stand against the suppression of free speech, who stand against the abuses of our children, and who stand against the perversion of society.
This is about putting the power back in the hands of the people that believe in this country, reclaiming our culture, reclaiming our heritage, and inadvertently reclaiming our future by taking back the things that government, that false religions, that false ideologies are trying to strip us of and take out of our lives.
The whole event is just about unity and freedom, which obviously is what is very close to my heart. We've seen what can happen when we all come together, drop the labels, stop the division, and stand together.
Nigel Farage, I think he means well. I think he loves this country. I think he needs to wake up and realise that we are his supporters, we are his voters, and he has to stand with us. If he doesn't stand side by side with his own people, he really doesn't have anyone. Keir Starmer, what do I think of him? Nothing that I can say on camera.
I don't think Keir Starmer has a mandate to rule this country. 80% of people didn't vote for him. So his vote share didn't increase. Reform broke the Conservative vote in half. And we're left with a situation whereby a lot of these people are politically homeless and they don't have someone to support them back. And that's why we try and put together a movement which has not got a leader. It's not about one person. It's about a lot of people. It's about all of those people, actually. It's not about one person, and anyone who can help amplify that voice, we love.
Nigel should have been here, and he wasn't. I want to say to Nigel, look at what you could have won!
We have a system of politics in the UK that needs to be broken and completely reformed, and even the current crop of new politicians are just as bad as those that are coming in. Keir Starmer is possibly the worst socialist leader that the UK could have ever had, far worse than Jeremy Corbyn when he was leader of the Labour Party. And having worked for Nigel Farage's Reform Party, I don't see them being the change. They are too concerned with pushing the singular agenda that does not work in the best interest of the United Kingdom and restores the morality of the Christian faith at the heart of our culture, at the heart of our country, and gives this country a future again.
And yet it was Boris Johnson that gave us mass immigration on a scale the country has never seen. It was under Boris Johnson where the boats first started crossing the English Channel.
I think they're just trying to completely destroy the British culture. They want us gone. They want this mixed match of God knows what. But the British people won't stand for that. The British people they won't be defeated. It's just not going to happen. And the Tories and the Labour Party need to open their eyes and realise that we are now fighting back. And we're fighting back the right way, in a peaceful way, with determination, with true British grit, and we will win. And they need to know that we will win.
This is all part and parcel of the globalist agenda. We will be swamped by huge numbers of illegal and legal migration. We've got a Labour government that just this week have announced that they intend to give 90,000 unprocessed asylum seekers a basic amnesty into citizenship or the right to remain indefinitely in the UK. Nobody wants to tackle immigration because it's too politically incorrect. You know, they're afraid of the Islamists in the community. They're afraid of the backlash. They're afraid of being called racist or Islamophobic or whatever it is. Instead of saying, no, this is an island nation. We can only house a certain number of people, and we have to look at our immigration policies with a much, much clearer head, do what's best for the people in this country, close the borders if necessary, and do what Australia did. We need laws in this country that govern the waters around our land, and if you are caught in a boat, you're not brought into Dover, you're taken back to whichever country you started from. And that's not racist to say that thing.
The plan is to replace our population with another population. That's the plan. And if you can't work that out by this point, then you're beyond help. It's, you know, this whole idea of the left, which is you don't even need to have your own children. You can just import other people's children to work for you. It's like, no, the greatest commitment you have to life is to have a child and to raise that child and give it a great life. It's the covenant between the elders and the youngers. And we've broken that covenant. We need to get it back.
We have a huge homelessness problem in the UK. We have a huge child poverty problem in the UK. We have huge wealth inequality problems in the UK. And if we don't address them, this country is going to suffer. But all of the money that should be spent on these problems, even our health service, is being spent on housing illegal immigrants into the UK. Enough is enough. There's an age-old saying that we've known for hundreds of years. Charity begins at home. And we need to start looking after our own people before we start entertaining the needs of those that are basically coming here as economic migrants.
I think that the Leeds riots is an example of multiculturalism gone wrong. Really wrong.
We have a government that is afraid to tackle crime, and we need police that have a passion to actually enforce the law, not dance around wearing pride flags and bowing the knee to BLM and being the friend of, you know, pro-Palestinian marches.
They think they're putting me on trial. I just put you on trial to the world.
We're seeing that obviously in Canada right now. It's rampant. There is definitely a two-tier justice system. I was jailed for a total of almost 50 days for advocating for peaceful protest and respecting the police. And then we have, well, you see what's happening there now. They're like, it's like a catch and release what's happening there now on crimes. I'm charged with mischief, among some other minor things. But, you know, these are pretty serious crimes that are happening in Canada, and they're just getting let out the very next day. You know, it's got to change.
In the winter of 2022, a small group of Canadian truckers, along with some volunteers, decided to stand up against government overreach and draconian measures that we witnessed tearing families apart. We lost friends, we lost family, our loved ones died alone, and we said no more. We drove across Canada to have an audience, to request an audience with our government so that we could have them listen to the other side of the story. And I'm going to tell you, if it wasn't for the independent Canadian media and people with cell phones, you would still all think I was a terrorist.
Well, the media have been infiltrated by the enemy. The media are not British people in many instances. They're not even British. And they've been infiltrated by the enemy. We need to root them out, and they need to be replaced with genuine journalists. The journalist's job is to report the truth, not to make it up as they go along. And people have got past that now. People are opening their eyes. They're seeing that if you want the real news, the real media, you need to watch things like Rebel News and all the alternative channels, because that's where you're going to get the truth, and you won't get it on the mainstream media.
Don't forget, I don't receive any penny from Trudeau, so I'm here on a crowdfunding money. So it's because of you I'm here right now. So if you can, please go and chip in at battleforlondon.com. Please help me to offset my travel expense, because, as I say, mainstream media will never report the truth here. They will paint them as extremist radical. But here we speak with the people who are just normal patriots who want their basic freedom back. So I repeat, battleforlondon.com.